Keir Starmer declares Tory plans in disarray, key legislation faces axing. As Rishi Sunak embarks on his election campaign, his legacy faces erosion with the shelving of major policies and a legislative program in disrepair. Drops Rwanda deportations and youth smoking ban. On the first day of campaigning, Sunak scrapped flagship proposals to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda and prohibit tobacco sales to young people. These policies were seen as cornerstones of his government's agenda, but their abandonment leaves his platform threadbare. End of no-fault evictions, media laws, and football regulator in doubt. Ministers confirmed that crucial legislation, including measures to end no-fault evictions, introduce new media laws, and establish a football regulator, is likely to be abandoned. Parliament was set to rush these bills through before suspension, but they now face an uncertain fate. Starmer, Tory chaos reigns. Keir Starmer, launching his campaign in Gillingham, Kent, criticized the government's chaos, accusing them of failing to deliver on key promises. He asserted that the Tory legislative program is in shambles, with numerous laws now up in the air or in the bin. Rwanda plans delay draws Tory ire. Sunak's admission that channel crossings would not be curtailed before July 4 sparked dismay among Tory right-wingers. The £500 million Rwanda scheme, intended to stop the boats, will not see flights to Kigali until after the election, leaving many MPs questioning its viability. Rwanda bet and legal challenges. Sunak had agreed to a £1,000 bet with Piers Morgan that Rwanda flights would take off before polling day. Morgan is now demanding payment for a refugee charity. The scheme faces legal challenges from trade unions and refugee organizations, who welcomed the likelihood of its demise. Tobacco and vapes ban uncertain. Sunak's previous commitment to ban tobacco purchases for young people was also cast into doubt, as it was omitted from the final business in the House of Commons before prorogation. Commons leader Penny Mordaunt did not include the tobacco and vapes bill in her list of legislation to be pushed through before Friday's period known as wash-up. Martin's Law faces delay. The government also appears unlikely to enact Martin's Law, legislation named after a victim of the Manchester Arena bombing that would tighten venue security. The victim's mother expressed dismay after Sunak promised to rush the bill through before summer, only to call an election hours later. Labour pledges bill introduction. Labour has indicated that it will introduce Martin's Law as soon as possible. Rwanda delay causes discord. Sunak's acknowledgement of the delay in Rwanda flights has generated significant discord within his divided party. Critics argue that he should have secured the departure of a plane to East Africa before calling an election. They believe the failure to implement the plan before the vote exposes its inherent flaws. Sunak defends position. Facing pressure on whether deportation flights would depart before the polls, Sunak repeatedly asserted that the scheme would become operational after the election. He maintained that it would be up and running if he was re-elected. Starmer, Rwanda plan doomed from the start. Starmer suggested that Sunak's decision to call an election before the Rwanda scheme was implemented indicated his awareness of its futility. He emphasized the need to address border control and small boat crossings, but argued that the Rwanda plan was not a viable solution. Government agenda in disarray. In addition to the abandonment of key policies, the government faces challenges in passing other legislation. Martin's Law, compensation for victims of the contaminated blood scandal, and exoneration for post office operators caught up in the Horizon IT scandal are among the measures facing an uncertain future. Sunak calls for TV debates. At an event in Scotland, Sunak urged Starmer to agree to televised debates. He criticized Starmer's lack of clarity and policy proposals and emphasized the importance of public discourse on key issues facing the country.